In the far reaches of the galaxy, there existed a species unlike any other. They were enormous, with scales that shimmered like metal and eyes that glowed with cold intelligence. Every move they made radiated power. Every word they spoke demanded obedience. They called themselves the Alpha Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds. For centuries, they had dominated the galaxy. Planets bent to their will. Civilizations trembled before them. No one dared resist. Entire species were enslaved, conquered, or wiped out, all in the name of maintaining order. The Alpha Empire believed themselves invincible. They believed nothing could ever challenge their rule. And for a long time, they were right. In the halls of their massive command ships, adorned with banners of victory and trophies from countless wars, the Alpha rulers discussed their latest conquests. One leader, larger than the others and scarred from 100 battles, slammed its clawed hand against the table. "We are untouchable. No fleet, no weapon, no species can challenge us. The galaxy belongs to us." The others roared in agreement, their voices echoing through the chamber like thunder. The air vibrated with their arrogance. They had crushed empires, destroyed planets, and captured suns. The Alpha Empire had seen it all, or so they thought. Rumors began to trickle in from the outer edges of the galaxy. At first, the leaders ignored them. Traders spoke of a small blue planet, spinning quietly in a lonely star system. Its inhabitants were said to be weak, primitive, and insignificant. They had no great fleets. They had no powerful weapons. They were, by every measure, unworthy of notice. "Earth," one of the generals hissed, its voice dripping with disdain. "Why would we care about such a small, feeble world?" The other leaders laughed. Their laughter shook the walls of the command hall. "Let them live their tiny lives," said the largest among them. "They are nothing. Mere insects. No threat, no challenge. Our attention is better spent on worlds that matter." But even as they spoke, a small seed of curiosity began to grow. Reports came of humans observing alien ships, noting their movements, and even predicting their attacks with uncanny accuracy. The Alpha Empire dismissed it at first. Surely, it was exaggeration. Surely, a primitive species could not pose a threat. Yet, something felt strange. Sensors detected signals from Earth that were unlike anything recorded before. The readings were sharp, precise, intelligent. For a moment, even the arrogant leaders paused. Could a species so small, so weak, actually understand them? Could they be planning something? The Alpha Empire decided to send a scout fleet. Just a few ships, nothing grand, nothing to challenge their pride. The humans would be studied, assessed, and then dismissed as irrelevant. That was the plan. When the scout fleet entered Earth system, they found a planet of blue oceans, green continents, and sprawling cities. Humans bustled on the surface. At first glance, they were ordinary. They farmed. They built. They fought their own small wars. Nothing about them suggested greatness. Nothing about them screamed danger. The alien scouts laughed. "So, this is the planet we were warned about. This is the species we are supposed to fear." One of the commanders sneered, watching the humans scramble in their tiny vehicles, unaware of the eyes above them. But then the first anomaly appeared. The scouts' advanced sensors, capable of detecting energy across light years, began to spike. Systems that had never malfunctioned before flickered and died. Communications scrambled. Ships wobbled in orbit as if invisible hands had pushed them. The humans had done nothing. They had not fired a weapon. They had not built massive defenses. Yet, somehow, their presence disrupted the most powerful technology in the galaxy. The scouts sent reports back, but the Alpha leaders, confident as always, dismissed it. "Malfunction," they said. "Primitive interference. Nothing more." And so, the Alpha Empire continued, blinded by arrogance. They ruled the galaxy without question, certain that no one could touch them. Every planet, every star system, every conquered species only strengthened their pride. They were the ultimate rulers, the apex predators of the stars. But they did not see the humans coming. On Earth, humans looked up at the stars with curiosity. They studied, They experimented, they prepared. Quietly, without arrogance, they learned about the Alpha Empire, about their fleets, about their tactics. Unlike the aliens, humans did not assume victory. They planned. They adapted. They waited. And soon, the galaxy would learn a lesson it had never expected. Hook line for audience. They ruled 1,000 worlds, but even they did not see humans coming. The Alpha Empire's pride blinded them. Their arrogance made them blind. And that would be their first and greatest mistake. The Alpha Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries. Their fleets were vast, their weapons unmatched, and their arrogance unmatched. But now, their attention turned to Earth. A small, blue planet, barely noticeable among the billions of stars, had caught their interest. A fleet of sleek, dark ships moved silently through the void. Each vessel gleamed with alien metal, adorned with symbols of conquest and war. Inside, commanders prepared for the easiest victory of their lives. "This world is weak," said one, claws tapping impatiently against the control panel. "They have nothing to fight with. Nothing to stop us." The humans were unaware of the approaching threat. Cities buzzed with life, children played in parks, ships traveled across oceans. To them, the galaxy was distant, almost a story in the sky. They had no idea that an empire that ruled thousands of worlds was observing them. The alien fleet descended into orbit. From above, the humans seemed tiny, fragile, and unarmed. The commanders laughed at the sight. "Pathetic," hissed one. "Such simple minds, such simple lives. How could they ever challenge us?" For the first time, scouts beamed down into the atmosphere, scanning cities, factories, and ports. They expected to see nothing but primitive technology. But the readings were odd. Small energy bursts, unusual patterns in human communications, strange signals that defied explanation. One scout frowned. "Commander, their technology, it doesn't match their appearance. It's different. Intelligent. Organized." The commander sneered. "Don't let appearances fool you. They are weak. Primitive. This is nothing more than curiosity. Soon, they will be crushed under our might." Even as they laughed, a small warning flickered across the screens. Sensors detected movements, human vehicles shifting, communication networks reacting. Not chaotic, but precise. Like they had been waiting. Like they knew exactly what the aliens were planning. The fleet moved closer. A few ships began to orbit major cities, scanning for weapons or defenses. And then the first human action appeared. It was small. Barely noticeable. A fleet of human ships, advanced but not enormous, rose into orbit in perfect formation. They did not fire. They did not attack. They simply moved, synchronized and coordinated, as if performing a ritual the aliens could not understand. The alien scouts stared at their screens in disbelief. What is this?" one whispered. "They are responding. But they haven't attacked. They are waiting." The commanders barked orders. "Fire at once. Show them our power." But as the first shots left the alien ships, something impossible happened. Their advanced weapons malfunctioned. Energy beams fizzled and exploded before reaching the surface. Shields warped and blinked, communications scrambled. The humans did not even touch them, yet their ships could no longer function properly. Panic rippled through the fleet. "Impossible," shouted one commander. "Their defenses are too advanced." But oh how? On Earth, humans did not celebrate. They observed calmly from hidden bases, their eyes sharp, their minds calculating. Every alien move was anticipated. Every strategy was countered before it could begin. They had prepared, studied, and waited for this moment. And now, the first signs of victory were showing. Back in the alien command halls, disbelief turned to fear. The Alpha Empire, which had crushed entire civilizations without mercy, now faced a species they had assumed was fragile, weak, and insignificant. Their arrogance blinded them, and now, for the first time, they realized they had underestimated humans. "Send reinforcements," roared the lead commander. "Crush them before they grow stronger." But it was too late. Even as the fleets moved, humans adapted. Small vessels zipped between alien ships, disabling systems without destroying the hulls. Communication networks were hacked, feeding false data back to the Alpha Empire. Every attack the aliens launched was anticipated and countered. The once proud empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, began to taste their first fear. And fear was a feeling they had never truly known. The humans were not strong by alien standards. They did not have massive fleets, giant weapons, or centuries of experience in interstellar war. But they had intelligence, coordination, and the ability to adapt. They had patience, observation, and courage. And now, they were showing the galaxy that appearances could be deceiving. Even the smallest human actions sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. One by one, commanders began to realize that this planet, this species, was unlike any other they had faced. And the most terrifying thought began to form in their minds: maybe, humans were not a threat to be crushed. Maybe, humans were a force the galaxy had never seen before. Hook line for audience. The humans had done nothing, yet already, the Alpha Empire trembled. The stage was set. The galaxy's rulers had met a species they could not ignore. And the humans, quiet and unassuming, were only just beginning. The Alpha Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries, crushing all who opposed them. Yet now, the distant blue planet called Earth had shaken even their confidence. Scouts had returned with reports that made the rulers uneasy. Humans were unlike any species they had ever encountered. Despite this, the leaders of the Alpha Empire sat in their massive halls, draped in banners of victory, ignoring the warnings. Primitive creatures, one scoffed, claws tapping against the metal floor. They cannot possibly be a threat. Do not waste our time with exaggerations. Advisors from neighboring systems tried to intervene. Great leaders, one pleaded, these humans are different. They do not act like other species. They are patient, intelligent, and capable of learning fast. We have seen fleets destroyed by small strikes, communication systems failing for no reason. You must not underestimate them. The lead commander, larger than the rest and scarred from countless wars, laughed. Warnings? From whom? From insects. He waved a claw dismissively. We have conquered thousands of worlds. We have destroyed empires. Nothing on this speck of a planet can challenge us. This is just curiosity. Let it be. Even as he spoke, reports continued to arrive. Humans were not merely defending their planet, they were studying the alien ships. They were learning the Empire's technology, movements, and patterns. Each human action was precise, coordinated, and efficient. Small teams of human vessels disabled alien ships without even touching them. Intelligence networks were hacked, feeding false data back to the Alpha Empire. Another commander argued, "Leader, the humans adapt faster than any species we have faced. They anticipate our moves, even without knowing our plans. They are dangerous." The leader's eyes narrowed, but he shook his head. Dangerous? Perhaps. But insignificant. They are still weak. We are strong. We have the fleets, the weapons, the experience. Their cleverness does not match our power. Meanwhile, humans on Earth were preparing quietly. Cities that seemed ordinary were secretly command centers. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked in perfect coordination, observing every alien movement, predicting every strike. They had no arrogance. They had no illusions. They simply prepared for the moment when the galaxy would notice them. The first small skirmishes had already revealed a startling truth: humans did not need massive fleets to fight. They used intelligence, strategy, and cleverness to turn even the smallest advantage into a victory. Alien commanders could not understand how such a primitive species could outthink them. Every plan they attempted failed. Every attack was anticipated. Back in the halls of the Alpha Empire, frustration grew. One advisor whispered nervously, "Great leaders, if we continue to ignore this, the humans will grow stronger. They are learning from us, adapting. We may not be able to stop them once they act." The lead commander slammed his claw against the table, rattling the walls. "Enough. I do not care what these humans are learning. They are weak. They are small. They cannot touch us. We are the Alpha Empire. No species has ever defied us and live. But deep inside, even the commander felt a flicker of doubt. For the first time, arrogance and pride clashed with fear. What if these humans were not what they seemed? What if the galaxy had misjudged them entirely? On Earth, humans continued their work in silence. They did not seek recognition. They did not shout warnings. They prepared. Every sensor they built, every simulation they ran, was a step closer to revealing their true power. And the Alpha Empire, blinded by arrogance, continued to dismiss them. Then, a sudden report arrived at the central command of the Empire. A small human team had sabotaged one of their scout ships entirely without a direct attack. Systems failed. Weapons went offline. Communications were jammed. No explosion, no fight. Just humans. The room went silent. Every leader looked at the screens, eyes wide. "This is impossible," one muttered. "They are learning faster than our ships can move. Faster than our fleets can respond." The lead commander's face darkened. "No. This cannot be. We are invincible. We have ruled the galaxy for centuries. No species, no force, no intelligence can match us." Yet the unease could not be ignored. Even the youngest advisors, once fearful of contradicting the rulers, whispered among themselves, "The humans, they are different. We have never faced a species like this." But the Alpha Empire refused to act. Their pride would not allow them to see the truth. They would continue their plans to conquer Earth, believing it was a trivial task. They believed humans were still insignificant. And that belief would be their greatest mistake. Hook line for audience. The warnings were clear, but the rulers refused to listen. Soon, arrogance would meet its match. The stage was set. Humans observed. Humans prepared. And the Alpha Empire, blinded by pride, was about to learn that underestimating Earth was a danger no ruler could survive. The Alpha Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, had always believed victory was guaranteed. They had crushed every enemy before, destroyed every fleet, and shattered every planet that dared oppose them. And yet, the humans of Earth had shown that their assumptions could be wrong. The day of the first strike began quietly. Alien ships moved into position above the planet. The humans, at first, appeared calm. Cities continued their daily life, unaware to most that a fleet from the galaxy's most powerful empire hovered above them. But this calm was deliberate. Humans had studied the alien patterns for years. They had learned every tactic, every strategy the Empire used. And now, they were ready. The first shots came from the aliens. Massive energy beams tore through the skies, aimed at key locations where humans might have hidden defenses. The Alpha commanders watched with satisfaction. "This will teach them," one said. "They are primitive. They cannot withstand our power." But the humans did not panic. Their response was precise, calculated, and devastating. Small fleets, barely noticeable compared to the alien armada, moved in perfect formation. They did not attack directly at first. Instead, they disabled communications, sabotaged engines, and cut power grids. Alien ships floundered. Weapons misfired. Sensors went offline. Systems the Empire had trusted for centuries failed, one by one, without a single human ship being destroyed. "Impossible," shouted a commander, his voice trembling. How are they doing this? They are adapting faster than we can predict." The human strategy was simple yet brilliant. They did not rely on brute force. They relied on intelligence, coordination, and unpredictability. Every move the aliens made was anticipated. Every attack the Empire launched was countered before it even began. On the planet's surface, humans watched the skies and the alien movements through advanced observation stations. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists coordinated as one mind. Orders were given and followed instantly. One group of human ships disabled an entire alien squadron by attacking weak points in their systems. Another group fed false data to the enemy, causing confusion and delays. The Alpha Empire, used to domination, began to panic. Ships that once moved with confidence now hesitated. Commanders shouted at subordinates. Even the largest warships, armed with weapons powerful enough to destroy cities, struggled to respond to the humans' unpredictable tactics. A small human strike team moved swiftly, silently, and without warning. In one moment, an entire alien squadron in orbit was crippled. In the next, another group of ships lost power entirely. The humans had not used massive explosions or overwhelming numbers, they had used brains, speed, and perfect timing. The lead commander of the Alpha Empire banged his claw against the table in anger. No species should be able to do this. No civilization should have such cleverness. They are impossible. But even as he spoke, humans continued their coordinated attack. Small, precise strikes turned into larger disruptions. Alien ships collided, weapons backfired, and fleets were thrown into chaos. All around the galaxy, intelligence sensors would later record the first signs of a species that could challenge the Alpha Empire not with numbers, but with strategy. Still, the humans did not attack recklessly. They observed, learned, and adapted in real time. Every human move was measured, every strike calculated. The aliens, who had believed themselves invincible, realized that their arrogance had blinded them. Humans were not weak. Humans were not simple. Humans were something they had never faced before. And in that moment, the first true shockwave of fear rippled through the Alpha Empire. The rulers of 1,000 worlds, the most feared species in the galaxy, had underestimated humans. For the first time, they knew that their victory was not guaranteed. For the first time, they felt the chill of doubt. The humans had done what no other species could. Without overwhelming firepower, without large-scale destruction, they had crippled a fleet that had dominated the galaxy for centuries. Hook line for audience. The Alpha Empire had faced countless enemies, but none like humans. And now, the galaxy would tremble. The first strike was over, but it was only the beginning. The humans had revealed a truth the galaxy could not ignore: intelligence, strategy, and courage could defeat even the mightiest empire. And the Alpha Empire, blinded by pride and arrogance, was about to learn just how dangerous humans could be. The Alpha Empire had never known fear. For centuries, their fleets had crushed every enemy, their weapons had leveled countless worlds, and their rule had gone unchallenged. But now, the humans of Earth had shown them something they could not ignore. Something terrifying. After the first strike, the Empire's commanders gathered in their largest warship, tension filling the air. Screens showed damaged fleets, malfunctioning weapons, and broken communications. The humans had not even unleashed their full power. Yet, in a few hours, they had shattered what had once seemed indestructible. "This cannot be happening," one commander hissed, pacing the room. "They are too clever. Too fast. Too precise. This species, it shouldn't exist." The lead commander's claws tightened. "We underestimated them. That was our mistake. But it will not happen again. Send reinforcements. Crush them before they learn more. They are still primitive. Still small. Still nothing." But even as orders were given, the humans revealed more of their strength. It began subtly. Alien sensors picked up unusual activity across the planet. Factories and laboratories produced ships and weapons at speeds the Empire thought impossible. Human fleets, though smaller, moved with synchronization that no algorithm could predict. Every tactic the aliens had used for centuries was anticipated and countered effortlessly. Then came the first major revelation. Humans had developed technology the Alpha Empire had never imagined. Shields that could withstand direct energy blasts. Engines that allowed ships to dodge attacks before the aliens could even aim. Weapons that disrupted alien systems without destroying the hull. The humans' ingenuity was terrifying, and the aliens could do nothing to stop it. One young commander whispered, They are not a primitive species. They are something else. Something evolved. They learn faster than we can destroy. Faster than we can adapt." The lead commander slammed his claw into the control panel, sparks flying. "Enough. We will show them power. We will make them kneel before us." But the humans were already ahead. They did not attack recklessly. They did not waste energy on brute force. Every move was calculated. Every fleet was in perfect position. The humans combined strategy, technology, and adaptability in ways that no other species had ever achieved. In orbit above Earth, human ships disabled an entire alien squadron with precise strikes to critical points. On the planet's surface, hidden bases transmitted data that scrambled enemy communications. The Empire's mighty weapons misfired, colliding with each other or shutting down entirely. And all of this happened without a single human ship being lost. The Alpha Empire had faced countless foes, but none had ever moved like this. None had ever thought so quickly, so strategically, or so effectively. They had assumed humans were weak, predictable, and primitive. That assumption was shattered. Across the galaxy, other species began to take notice. Scouts reported the strange defeat of the Empire's fleets. Rumors spread. Humans are not what we thought, one alien whispered. They are unstoppable. Back on Earth, humans did not celebrate. They had not come to conquer. They had only defended their planet. But their capabilities were undeniable. The first strike had revealed their true power, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The lead commander of the Alpha Empire stared at the reports, his face darkening. How is this possible? They are ordinary beings. Yet they move like the strongest warlords. Their minds, their coordination, it defies reason. Panic began to spread among the Empire's leaders. What had seemed a simple conquest had become a nightmare. The humans were learning, adapting, and preparing for the next stage. And unlike other species, they did not fear the Empire. They faced it with calm, precise determination. It was then that a terrifying realization struck the Alpha Empire: the humans were not just defending. They were evolving. With every move the aliens made, humans observed, analyzed, and countered. The Empire's pride, its arrogance, and its centuries of rule were no match for the ingenuity and adaptability of a species it had once dismissed as insignificant. And the galaxy began to whisper. Whispers that the Alpha Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, could be defeated. Whispers that humans were not ordinary. Whispers that the smallest species could challenge the greatest. Hook line for audience. The humans had shown their true strength, and the galaxy would never be the same. The first strike was over. The humans had revealed a power no one expected. And the Alpha Empire, blinded by arrogance and pride, realized for the first time that they had made a grave mistake. The stage was set for the next battle. The humans had arrived, and their true power was only beginning to be seen. The Alpha Empire had once been unstoppable. Entire civilizations had crumbled under its might. Its fleets, the largest in the galaxy, had never been defeated. Its rulers had never known fear. But now, all of that was changing. The humans of Earth had revealed their true power. Their strategies, technology, and precision had shaken the Empire to its core. Ships that had once been invincible now lay disabled in orbit. Weapons that could destroy planets misfired, and fleets that had conquered thousands of worlds were now in chaos. In the command halls of the Empire, tension hung heavy in the air. Leaders shouted over failing communications. Advisors argued, pointing to reports of human strikes across the galaxy. "We cannot stop them," one whispered. "Every move we make is countered. Every strategy fails. They are unstoppable." The lead commander banged his claw against the table. "This is impossible. We are the Alpha Empire. We cannot be defeated." But the evidence was undeniable. The humans had adapted to every attack, anticipated every move, and struck with perfect precision. Planets that once bowed to the Empire now resisted. Entire star systems were liberated by the humans' clever tactics. The Empire was losing not because of strength, but because they had underestimated the humans. On Earth, humans continued their silent campaign. They did not boast, they did not fight recklessly. Each strike was calculated. Every fleet, every soldier, every weapon was used at the exact moment it would have the greatest effect. The humans did not just fight, they orchestrated a symphony of destruction against the most powerful species in the galaxy. In orbit above the Empire's capital, the final battle began. The humans attacked with precision, disabling communication arrays and targeting weak points in the massive defense grids. Alien ships collided in confusion, misfiring their own weapons. The once proud empire faltered under the cunning of humans who, by all appearances, should have been weak. The lead commander roared in anger. "Send everything. Crush them before they destroy us." But it was too late. Human fleets moved faster, striking with surgical precision. Every attempt to regroup failed. Every counterattack was anticipated. The Empire's capital, the heart of their power, shook as explosions lit the skies. Entire fleets were disabled before they could fire a single shot. On the surface of liberated planets, citizens cheered. They had long suffered under the Empire's rule, but now they witnessed the impossible. Humans, a species once considered insignificant, defeating the greatest force in the galaxy. Even the surviving leaders of the Alpha Empire began to despair. Fear, a feeling they had never truly known, gripped them. Their fleets, their weapons, their pride, none of it could withstand the human strategy. The galaxy, which had once bowed to their might, now whispered about their impending fall. The lead commander, wounded and desperate, realized the truth. We underestimated them. We thought ourselves invincible, but we were wrong. Human ships surrounded the Empire's remaining forces. There was no mercy, but also no chaos. Every strike was measured. Every move was calculated. The humans had proven that they were not just strong, they were intelligent, adaptable, and precise. And in the final moments, the Empire's fleets fell one by one. Planets once under their control were liberated. Systems once feared by all now looked to Earth with awe and hope. The Alpha Empire, which had ruled for centuries, was no more. Across the galaxy, species whispered the same name, humans. A species once thought weak, small, and primitive had erased the greatest empire the stars had ever seen. Hook line for audience. The Alpha Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, had fallen, and humanity stood victorious. The galaxy had changed forever. The humans of Earth, patient, clever, and unstoppable, had proven that even the smallest species could overcome the mightiest. And while the battle was won, the universe watched in awe, wondering what humans would do next. The stage was set for the final chapters. Humans had triumphed, but the story was far from over. The galaxy would remember this day, the day the Alpha Empire fell, and humanity's rise began. The Alpha Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries. They had faced countless enemies, crushed entire civilizations, and destroyed planets without mercy. Yet now, after their fleets had fallen and their planets had been liberated, only a few leaders remained. The once proud rulers were reduced to shadows, hiding in fear and confusion. In the Empire's final stronghold, the lead commander looked over the last remaining ships. His massive body was scarred, his eyes burned with desperation. "We are not finished," he growled. "We will strike one last time. We will fight until the end. Humanity will not take everything from us." But even in his anger, doubt had begun to creep in. The humans were different from any species he had faced. They were patient, clever, and relentless. They had learned, adapted, and struck with precision that no empire could match. The humans, meanwhile, did not rush. They observed. They calculated. They prepared for the final confrontation. Small fleets moved in perfect coordination, surrounding the remnants of the Empire's forces. Every strike was planned to maximize effect and minimize risk. No human ship would be wasted, and no alien ship would escape their careful strategy. The first skirmishes began as the remaining Alpha ships attempted to break through. They fired desperately, hoping to scatter the human fleets. But every move was anticipated. Every attack was countered before it could reach its target. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and systems failed. The humans had turned the final fight into a trap, leaving the Empire with no escape. One commander shouted in frustration, "This cannot be. They are too clever. They are ordinary beings, yet they move with the precision of 1,000 generals." The lead commander knew the truth now. His arrogance, his pride, and centuries of assumed invincibility had blinded him. He realized that humans were not just a challenge, they were a force unlike any other in the galaxy. On Earth, humans watched the final battle unfold from observation points across the planet. Soldiers, engineers, and commanders coordinated flawlessly. Every fleet, every strike, every movement was calculated to perfection. Even the smallest human ships played a critical role, exploiting weaknesses in the alien ships that had gone unnoticed for centuries. As the battle progressed, the remnants of the Alpha Empire were systematically destroyed. Planets that had been lost were now liberated. Star systems that had lived in fear for centuries were finally free. The lead commander and his closest advisors fought with desperation, but it was clear they were losing. Finally, only the lead commander remained in the center of the galaxy's largest fleet. His ships were battered, his weapons failing, and his pride shattered. He realized the inevitable. The humans were not just stronger, they were smarter, faster, and far more resilient than the Alpha Empire had ever imagined. In a last act of defiance, the commander ordered a desperate charge. His fleet surged forward, hoping to strike a decisive blow. But the humans had anticipated it. Their ships moved like shadows, slipping past defenses, and striking at the heart of the remaining fleet. One by one, the Alpha ships fell. The final explosion shook the command bridge of the lead commander. He looked out at the chaos, at the ships he had once commanded with absolute authority, now destroyed or disabled. He understood the truth, the lesson that the galaxy would never forget: arrogance, pride, and underestimating humans were fatal mistakes. Alone and broken, he surrendered. The last stronghold of the Alpha Empire had fallen. Humanity had proven that even the mightiest rulers could be defeated by intelligence, strategy, and courage. Hook line for audience. The greatest empire the galaxy had ever known had been erased, and humans stood alone, victorious. The galaxy was silent for a moment, as if holding its breath. For centuries, no species had dared challenge the Alpha Empire. Now, humans had done what no one thought possible. They had defeated the rulers of 1,000 worlds. And while the battle was over, the story was not. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a new power. The humans of Earth, patient, clever, and unstoppable, were no longer just a species, they were a force that every civilization would respect, fear, and remember. The final stand had ended. The Alpha Empire was gone. Humanity had triumphed. But the universe, vast and endless, still held secrets, challenges, and mysteries. And humans were ready for all of it. The galaxy had never seen a sight like this. Star systems that had once bowed to the Alpha Empire now looked to a new power rising from a small blue planet called Earth. Humans, once dismissed as weak and primitive, had shattered the greatest empire the stars had ever known. Planets that had lived in fear for centuries celebrated their freedom. Messages of hope spread across the galaxy. The humans of Earth were no longer just a species, they were a symbol of intelligence, courage, and unstoppable determination. Every civilization, every ruler, every species knew the same truth: underestimate humans at your own peril. On Earth, humanity did not rejoice with arrogance. They had defended their planet, liberated countless worlds, and defeated the mightiest empire in history, but they did so with precision and patience. Every move had been calculated. Every strike had been planned. Their victory was not by chance, it was by design. The Alpha Empire was gone. Its fleets destroyed, its leaders defeated, and its planets free. Only whispers remained of the empire that had once ruled 1,000 worlds. And the humans, calm and resolute, had taken its place not as conquerors, but as guardians of a galaxy that had finally begun to understand their true power. From observation stations across the galaxy, humans studied the stars. They monitored new civilizations, shared technology with allies, and prepared for challenges that might arise. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers, but humans were ready. Their intelligence, adaptability, and resilience made them a force that no species could ignore. Even former enemies began to respect them. Species that had once trembled before the Alpha Empire now approached humans cautiously, offering alliances, not war. They understood the lesson that humans had taught the galaxy. Power was not only measured by fleets or weapons, but by strategy, patience, and the courage to act when the moment was right. In the heart of Earth, leaders reflected on their journey. They remembered the arrogance of the Alpha Empire, the disbelief in the galaxy, and the long years of preparation. Every decision had mattered. Every action had counted. And now, humans had proven that even the smallest, most underestimated species could rise to the top. Reports came from distant systems. Alien species told stories of humans who had defeated impossible odds, who had outsmarted the most powerful fleets, and who had liberated planets without destroying them. Legends of their intelligence and cunning spread quickly. The galaxy would never forget the rise of humans. Yet, even in victory, humans remained vigilant. The universe was vast, filled with mysteries and dangers. Other species, unknown to them, watched and learned. The humans knew that this was only the beginning. Their victory over the Alpha Empire had proven one truth: no challenge was too great, no enemy too strong, and no empire too mighty to fall. The stars themselves seemed to shine differently now. The galaxy had changed. Humans were no longer the quiet, primitive species that others had mocked. They were leaders, innovators, and warriors of unparalleled skill. Every fleet, every strategy, every human mind had contributed to this new era. And across the galaxy, whispers of awe and fear spread. The humans, they are not what we thought, aliens said. They are something greater. Something unstoppable. Hook line for audience. The Alpha Empire was gone. The galaxy had a new ruler, and its name was humanity. As humans looked to the stars, they knew that the future held challenges, mysteries, and adventures. But one thing was certain: they had earned their place among the stars. They had risen from a small, quiet planet to become the most respected and feared species in the galaxy. The galaxy had been changed forever. Humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and determination could overcome even the mightiest empire. And though the battles were won, their story was only beginning. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never be the same again.